presented a brief discussion about chemical dependency. The issue that I want to present to you now is what we call the family trap. I want you to think about a mobile hanging above a baby's crib. And as we all know, if a little bit of breeze comes and moves one piece of that mobile, all the other pieces try to balance and harmonize around that one that's been affected by the breeze. That's the same way with a family. It's a system, like that mobile is a system. So if one person in the family system is being affected by chemical dependency, all the other people in that system are also affected by it, and in turn their behavior affects the chemically dependent person. We diagram that in this way. Let's assume that one of the parents in a family system is chemically dependent. And we've already talked some about the chemical dependency. Always, if there's a chemically dependent person in the system, there is someone who is called the enabler, which is what I'm going to be talking about in just a little while. What I want to talk about primarily right now is what happens with these children. Often there is a child that we call the hero child. This is usually the first child in the system. Doesn't have to be the first child. This is the one that brings glory and honor to the family by doing things right, making good grades, being a star athlete, getting the positive attention. But no matter how hard this child works, they can't fix the chemical dependency in the family. So even though they look like they're pretty perfect in a lot of ways, deep down inside they're feeling very inadequate, because they can't fix the system. Then there's another child in the system, often called the scapegoat, born into the system, cannot begin to compete with the person who's already getting all the positive rewards. So this one learns very early that it's better to get negative attention than to get no attention. So this is the child that looks really rebellious. Actually, deep down inside, this child is very hurt because everyone identifies them as the problem in the family. And this is the one the family usually comes to counseling about in the first place. Then a child called the lost child. Positive attention, negative attention, no attention. But the family thinks this child is just fine because when things happen in the family and there's tension, this child just kind of quickly, quietly goes upstairs, plays with stuffed animals quietly or something like that. Very lonely child deep down inside. And then the last one I'll talk about we call the mascot. Think about a class clown, one that tries to alleviate the tension and the problems in the family by being cute and funny, but also think that you never really expect that person to mature. So deep down inside, this is a very immature person. Now, this is called the family trap for a number of reasons. As the chemical dependency gets worse in the family, each one of these people get locked more and more into their role. This one only knows how to try harder, work faster, be better. This one only gets angrier and more rebellious. This one more lost. This one more immature. But another way that it's called the family trap is unless someone breaks these dynamics and breaks this pattern within the family, this thing will go on generation after generation after generation. This child, because they're so responsible, would very likely become an enabler in the next generation. They will marry someone who's chemically dependent or who becomes chemically dependent. This is the one that's most likely to become chemically dependent first in the next generation, and it will be on street drugs, the socially unacceptable thing. If this one becomes chemically dependent, it's more likely to be on alcohol, and this one more likely on tranquilizers, which just makes it that much harder to get through to them emotionally, and this one on hallucinogens. So this pattern will repeat itself generation after generation unless people learn to do the things that help this kind of system, which is learn to talk about what's going on instead of denying what's going on, learn to have feelings, to identify and be able to express their feelings, learn to trust themselves and to trust each other. Those are the unwritten rules that we find in these families. The no talk, the no trust, the no feel, and those have to be broken where people start to address what's going on, learn how they feel, and learn how to trust both themselves and other people in the system.